Hi, I'm Sarah with People for Bikes. Thanks for joining us in this series as we share the ways your community can make biking better for everyone. It takes many things to build a great city for biking, from having a comprehensive bike plan to a bold city staff. Even with all those pieces in place, projects typically take from 8 to 10 years from concept to build, a glacial pace that doesn't stand up to the urgency of climate change or the transportation needs of our cities. Impressively, Austin, Texas, was able to cut down the time on its network build-out by a whopping 2/3. In 2018, the Austin Transportation Department decided to significantly accelerate the completion of its all ages and abilities bicycle network. As of June 2021, Austin had completed 50% of its 400-plus mile network, 25% of which was finished in the last 2 years. And what was originally scheduled to be an 8-year project, Austin was able to accelerate its timeline and cut 3 years off the build. To learn more about the magnitude of Austin's achievement, as well as the key factors that help escalate the pace of construction, we spoke with Laura Dennerfield, Active Transportation and Street Design Division Manager with the Austin Transportation Department, and Jim Wick of Move ATX, a coalition of community organizations, advocates, and activists.
The whole program here in Austin to build out the bike network is built on strong community engagement, strong transparent community engagement that at its core believes that we can have community conversations about trade-offs and about tough decisions on how to make street space better for everybody, and trust that community conversation can lead to good outcomes, and pair that with strong city policy and work together to get better streets for everybody. Transparent, thorough community engagement really is based on trust. Really amazed me how communities can have conversations about tough trade-offs together. And the best part of those conversations is when one neighbor understands the needs of another. And that really is built on trust and built on a faith that we as a community can have these conversations and get to a good outcome. It's really important to hear from everyone, including people who aren't interested in any change and people who have ideas that we hadn't thought of, and really put that all out there, reflect that fully to the community in the conversation, and really take constructively that feedback and incorporate it into the design. Oftentimes that feedback, whether good, bad, or ugly, can make a stronger project in the end.
Austin's acceleration is only possible because of strategic coordination between city officials and advocates. Together, the community was able to demonstrate popular support for the street changes the city sought to make.
So a big part of building the coalition of Move ATX, which really is a coalition of organizations, business owners, advocates, activists, we kind of went to non-traditional spaces to find people to participate in the coalition. Building that coalition involved going to those groups and laying out the benefits, not just for people riding bikes or people walking, but also for people driving cars, which is when you improve safety for all users of the road, it improves safety for people driving cars too. As we supported the city's efforts, we launched a broad campaign that was focused on all types of media, with particularly an emphasis on out-of-home advertising, displaying the infrastructure that the city was installing around the city, that people see what a truly protected bike lane looks like, what people see what a shared use path looks like, what people really see what a complete street is on the side of a bus or on a billboard or in a mail wrap or on a digital ad or a video that they see online that runs before something they watch on Hulu or YouTube, so that they can really get used to seeing the types of infrastructure, so that when the city comes in and makes a change to their street or a street that's adjacent to where they live, that it's not a shock, that they say, of course, that's how it's supposed to look. Part of the success of Austin's transformation from a city that primarily oriented to automobiles to a city that aspires to be oriented to all users of modes of transportation is really the transportation department following through on their plans, what they tell residents they're going to put in, responding to residents' concerns, and really being respectful and responsive to affected residents. Not that something is being done to the street or done to the residents, but rather that the street is changing with the residents and that it's being done done together.
Building community support and engaging a coalition of supporters was only the beginning of Austin's success. Leaders knew that in order to maintain momentum, they would need to act quickly, moving plans from paper to shovels in the ground.
Key ingredients to moving quickly and sustaining momentum has been scaling our work and delivering on what we said we would do, and doing that in as many places as we possibly can. So City of Austin voters approved a 5-fold increase in biking infrastructure investments in 2016, and that brought about an opportunity to scale. Also to diversify what we do. So we're not just building bike lanes, we're building bike lanes with pedestrian crossings, with left turn pockets, we're building transit stops, making it easier and more time competitive to get to and use the bus system. And with all of that going on across just about every neighborhood in the city, I think that really is what builds the momentum and the demand really for more of this kind of multimodal infrastructure all across the city.
People understand that we can't just build our way out of traffic. We can't just build endless amounts of roads, costs too much money. Everybody understands the concept of induced demand. And really the attitudes in our city shifted. Instead of adding lane miles, taking the space that we have and using it more efficiently, making sure that there's space reserved for all modes of travel, whether you're walking or riding a bicycle or rolling or driving a car.
People who live along the streets and who use the streets every day to get around have a unique perspective to bring, and when we can understand that and use that to develop the designs and deliver the project, I think that's what builds the momentum and the trust in the ability of the city to bring about the change that people want to see on their streets.
Building and sustaining momentum is about moving quickly. It's about capitalizing on opportunities. It's about understanding public sentiment, building on that sentiment, using it to the advantage of the city. And the sentiment is in the city is that a majority of people want to get out of their cars.
So increasingly we're looking at bringing about a more equitable process where all of these benefits can be brought to new neighborhoods where we traditionally underinvested and be able to connect a network fully. We can build a city for families who feel comfortable enough to let their children go out and play and get around by bike. That's really the kind of city I think a lot of people want to be in.
As Austin embarks on the next phase of development, the city will continue to employ the strategies that have made it so successful thus far. That includes building trust with your process, communicating mobility benefits widely, and moving quickly to maintain support. We can't wait to see what the city is able to accomplish next as it works to make Austin even better through bikes. Visit our City Ratings website for more tools and resources that will improve the health, livelihood, and future of our streets, cities, and planet. Together, let's create a better world through bikes.